Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Christina, and in today's video, I am so excited to share with you and announce my brand new unit, Slow Down, 50 Mindful Moments in Nature, a notebooking guide. Before I get into talking about my guide though, I wanna tell you, because there is such limited time on it, it is being released in a Simplified Year bundle. This bundle is a little different from the other bundles I've been a part of because it is only available for 3 days. So May 7th through 9th, you can get your hands on this bundle, and it is beautiful, you guys. I am so honored to even be included in it and so thankful to be a part of it. And so it was just like the perfect way to launch this resource that I finally finished, and I thought it would be a great way for you guys to get your hands on it along with a bunch of other things at an amazing value. Also, I will be doing a giveaway over on Instagram for the bundle, along with some other creators from the bundle tomorrow, Wednesday, May 8th. So definitely head over to my Instagram tomorrow at rooted_homelife to check that out. So some of you may remember my Slow Down notebooking guides. I have created different themed ones for summer and fall, and I did winter and the night sky. So I've come out with like 4 different ones, always with the intention of eventually creating a notebooking guide for the entire book, 50 Mindful Moments in Nature. I love that book. I think it's lovely, even just on its own. But I had gotten so many questions about notebooking and how we notebook that I thought it would be really great to create a guide to go along with 50 Mindful Moments in Nature. And so I did just that. I started probably a year ago, and on and off I've been working on it, and I finally have it completed. It is 282 pages. Now, many of the pages are, to be fair, letter pages like this for your children who are learning their letters. So like if you did not have a child learning their letters, then there are a lot of these pages in here that you would not need to print. So you do not have to print everything out at once. You do not need to print everything at all. And you could possibly even print nothing if you just wanted to use, for example, the main introductory notebooking page for each topic. This walks you through pages from other books that you can learn more about the topic. Optionally, if you would like to, it gives notebooking prompts and like prompts for getting out in nature and all of those things. The next page that always comes after that is more focused on like guided notebooking for your littles. So they're not at the place where they're going to be writing and drawing all of their own notebooking, or maybe like drawing frustrates them or writing frustrates them, and you just really want to get them into the practice of notebooking without all of that pressure. Or maybe you want them to create the image, but you want them to be able to have something to paste in for the words and things like that. So this gives not only things that can be cut and pasted, but also other options other than this or in addition to this. And then each letter, so this happens to be ladybugs, and obviously if you do not have a child that is learning letters, then this part does not apply, but it is there again for the purpose of creating an entryway for those children of yours that are learning letters to also be able to notebook. And so it may seem by what you can visually see more of here that this is for those ages of children. However, when I originally created this guide, it was not. It was more teaching notebooking to like your 6 and up crowd all the way through teen years. However, I have children, 2 of them, that are learning letters. And so for me, I wanted to create a way for them to be included. And so that's why I created that. So what you see here visually is more for them. But even if you only have a 10-year-old or you only had a 12-year-old, you could actually use this guide. Like I said, print just those first pages, which then would only be 50 pages. You could even print one at a time for whenever you're doing that page in Slow Down. Or you could print nothing and just pull this up on like your tablet or something like that and use the prompts. So there are many different ways to customize this guide to suit your family. And so each moment will have a letter page for both the upper and the lowercase. And then some of them have additional activities. This is something that was not really in my guides before. I wanted to create some extra things for the full guide that were not in the smaller packs that would just be, you know, an additional learning extension for your children. So for example, this one has ladybug math. And so this could be as simple as you putting, you know, a 4, like you cut these out and then you'd put a 4 here and then they put 4 ladybugs if that's the level they're at. Or there are options to use it for addition and subtraction, greater than and less than. So there are many ways you can use that one math activity. Then there is also Ladybug Life Cycle here. So you can print this out on cardstock as a poster that you could display. And then there is also the opportunity to do a cut and paste version. You can also use this same sheet without the cut and paste bottom part and just have them write them in. For your older kids, you can have them recreate this completely on their own in their notebooks. And then that's just an example of one of them. I am going to do a flip through of this in just a moment, but I wanted to just share at least one other thing that is in this bundle that I feel like I'm really excited about and I'm most familiar with, because there are over 25 beautiful resources in this bundle that I am so excited to use myself. I'm so excited for you guys to get your hands on. However, with all of this printing that I did, I have not printed anything yet. And so I have the link down in the description box below so that you can go and explore and see everything that's there. But because this is my product, I wanted to give you guys a full flip through of this. It is my biggest resource that I've ever created, so I'm super excited about it. And then I actually happen to have already another one of the resources that is in a Simplified Year bundle because we got it last summer. And that is a simple summer guide from Brighter Day Press, 8 weeks of nature-inspired morning times for families. We did this loosely last summer and we absolutely loved it. And here's what's actually really cool about it. The reason I got it last summer is because I had just created my summer slow down guide, which was my second one. My first one didn't officially say it was spring, but I was picking springy topics from it. And I created my first one based on some of the things that I wanted to focus on with my kids for spring. And then I created the one for summer. And then I saw this guide and realized that it uses the book Slow Down, 50 Mindful Moments in Nature as one of the required books for it. So I thought that was really cool because it was a way to kind of use them both. And it was a way to go through and dig a little bit deeper into the topic. And what I also love is that these could be used in conjunction with one another because they take completely different approaches. Or you could get the bundle and decide like this is the approach that you're really looking for, or the one that I created for just Slow Down also is more what you're looking for. So this breaks up a different nature topic each week. So I'll show you this really quick. I'm not going to do a full flip through, but just to give you an idea, week 1 is garden, week 2 is pond, week 3 is coral reef, meadow, nest, beach, sky, and forest. And it is really beautiful. There is a master book list, so there are lots of picture books for each week. So that is another thing that's a little bit different about our guides. Although Slow Down is used in this guide, there are lots of other picture books pulled in as well. The other interesting thing, and I actually am just realizing this in real time, just remembering really that the book Indescribable, 100 Devotions About God and Science, which I actually have right here in front of me, is used as the devotional in this guide. And I actually, another additional inclusion, I mentioned that I wanted to add in some things that weren't in my previous guides. Another additional inclusion to my Slow Down guide, now that I have the full length guide, is that I did include an optional devotion for each of them from one of these 2 books. So again, it is optional and not required. Everything in my guide is optional and nothing is really going to be missing unless you just skip the Slow Down book, which wouldn't make sense. But there are just many opportunities to dig deeper, to tie in scripture and real life application and all of those things. But this also uses this one. So it's just another tie-in. I love mixing and matching resources. It's totally my style. If you've been around, you know that. But anyways, so you have your book lists, and Just want to show you. It also brings in Aesop's Fables, and then you have like your weekly grid. So it is really, really organized. Tells you exactly what to do each day, activities, recipes, preschool books, regular picture books, and then your daily devotion. And then there's a scripture focus as well. So I really enjoyed this. I may pull from this again this summer. I would not be surprised. So I wanted to share this with you because I just happened to have this in print here to share with you. But I want to give you a flip through of my slow down guide so you can get an idea for how it's set up and if it might be something that you would find useful in your homeschool. If you have never notebooked before, it might be a great way for you to try out notebooking in a really guided way. And again, there are notebooking prompts and activities in there for all ages. Or maybe you're notebooking, but you need kind of like some new inspiration, or you want to switch things up, or you just want something to go along with that book that like extends and deepens the learning a little bit. So I am going to show you a flip through of this, but as a reminder, there are 25 plus resources in this bundle. It is only available for 3 days, so you're not going to want to miss it, and it is linked down in the description box below. So here is the guide. Again, I did print everything, which is not necessary unless you like having things in a physical copy like I do. And if you think you'll use everything, which I likely will because I have children 4, 5, 8, 12, and 16. So here are the books to use with this guide. So this is the main book. This is the only required text. This one would be like my next main recommendation. And then these two are pulled in a few times. This one is pulled in every single time, but this is just if you are wanting that deeper nature study. So that is completely optional. You do not need all of these books. And then these are optional as well if you want a devotion to go along with each of the topics. It is also important for me to note though that while some of them are like directly connected, like maybe it's about the day that you're talking about bees, there is a devotion specifically tying in bees. Some of them are a little bit more of a loose connection just because of the fact that there wasn't a perfect match up for each of the topics, but I did want to include a devotion for them. So these are just some optional additional things to use with the guide, ways to engage with nature, like planting flowers that will bring some of the pollinators that are talked about in here, having window feeders so that you can draw some birds that are talked about in here, or just birds in general. And then our favorite butterfly grow kit. We actually have our chrysalides are a few days in, and so any day now we will be getting some painted lady butterflies in our mudroom. So super excited for that. This page explains exactly how to use the guide, options for using the guide, and kind of what my thought process was in creating it. And then for more information about notebooking, specifically from a Charlotte Mason perspective, there is a podcast here that you can watch. I do not follow the specific Charlotte Mason way of notebooking, although I am inspired by it. I do not keep strictly to any of those things, really. These are some more suggestions for use. There are some pre-reading activities that you may choose to do, including notebooking and poetry copy work in both print and in cursive. And this is where we get into, you will notice pretty much the same format throughout the rest of the guide. So you'll have the name of the page from Slow Down. There'll be a little bit of an image, and then this is new. This was never in my guides before. Here you will see the suggested devotion, which book it's like, which devotional it's in, and then the pages you can find it. And then this will tell you to read, like what pages to read from the Slow Down book, then just how you can get your kids to start to narrate back if that is not something that they are in the habit of doing. This guide is not only going to teach you and your child how to notebook, but also the art of narration, which is another Charlotte Mason principle. However, like I said, even the narration, I do not follow exactly. Like, I'm not a Charlotte Mason purist by any stretch of the imagination. If you are not familiar with the Slow Down book, this is the book. It is absolutely beautiful. We really enjoy it. It starts off with some poetry and a table of contents. There is a prompt for slowing down and listening. And then it is a one-page spread for each topic. And so you'll see I just follow them in order. So that is the way my guide is organized. So like this tells you, you'll read pages 2 to 3. That is this page, a bee pollinates a flower. It has beautiful illustrations and not a ton of text, but really good information. So I feel like this is great for all ages as like an introduction to a topic. And then you have the option to dig deeper here. And there are so many ways that you could choose to use this guide. You might just go in order this way, or you may be using some kind of other nature study and you use this as just a way to introduce the topic. Then it will suggest that you take a look at certain pages from the Nature Anatomy book, and then it will give you some suggested readings from the Handbook of Nature Study, and then you will get into the notebooking prompts. All different ways that you can help children of all different ages engage with the topic through notebooking and narration. And then suggestions for getting outside and doing some nature journaling, notebooking style. Then the second page is always, like I mentioned, those prompts and cut and paste activities for notebooking for your younger learners. So they'll have a variety of options for how to do this, either using these or not using these, or using some of them, like pasting these into the bees, cutting and pasting these, the letters to form the words, if that's a level that they're at. So there's so many different ways that you can use this for all different levels. And then as I mentioned, there is uppercase and lowercase for each one. Now that is the basic format that you'll notice for each, and then some of them do have some extra things. So this is going to be the same for Do Collects on a Leaf, all pretty much the same structure and format. Same thing for A Butterfly Emerges from a Chrysalis. Now, so the butterfly one also includes a life cycle that you can use to just display. You could hang it up in your homeschool room or wherever you do homeschooling, or you can simply use it as a guide for your child to do the cut and paste life cycle activity, or once again, you could just take off the bottom and have them write those things in. Here is another poster that can be used, again, displayed just like this, if you wanted to put that like on an easel or up on the wall, or however you choose to use that. I did choose to print some things out on cardstock, which I'll show you in just a moment. Then the same thing for ducks, so same format for ducks, and then ducks have a fun little math activity similar to the ladybug one that I showed you. So this is like ducks in a pond or like baby chicks. And again, you can use this in a variety of ways depending on what level your child is at with their math skills. A spider weaves a web. The dawn chorus performs. So this one focuses on B for bird, just because dawn is not really the topic, but most of them align more closely with their letters. So thunderstorm on summer's day. This is the first example of using a consonant blend, so you get your TH in this way. So there's just one for this page as opposed to two. A squirrel buries an acorn in autumn, and so it digs it up in winter. So this is an example of a time that two letters are focused on. So the S and the A for both squirrel and acorn. A bat goes hunting at night. So these are kind of your basic format. Rainbow does have an additional act. Oh, I printed these a little bit out of order, these two pages, but that's okay. Rainbow has this additional activity, just practicing Roy G. Biv that they can trace and then also color. They can also trace the word rainbow. A fox eats berries from a bush. A snowflake falls. Mama and Dada birds feed their babies. This one focuses on nest and eggs. So there are N's and E's, and then also some coloring. There's also the bird life cycle for this one. A honeybee hive gets to work. This one follows that basic format, but then there also is a coloring page. The moon waxes and wanes. Again, same format with an additional coloring page. That's good for like your littles, like that are probably only going to color and not necessarily cut and paste, or they just prefer coloring, or if you have an older child that likes to color during readings just to keep their hands busy. An ocean wave forms crests and breaks, so this one's focusing on waves. And there is also a coloring page with places to practice tracing both print and cursive. A tadpole becomes a frog, focuses on both the tadpole and the frog, the T and the F. And then there is the frog life cycle, and then a coloring page. Bluebells transform a woodland, focuses on the bluebell. There is a coloring page. A mole tops up his store of earthworms, focuses on the mole. And the letter M for your letter learners. A sunflower tracks the sun. So sunflower is another one that's just a little bit more beefed up. So you have the sunflower life cycle, sunflower cut and paste. Then a little bit of an art study with Sunflowers by Van Gogh. Coloring and tracing for both print and cursive. And then next up, you have a game of cat and mouse. This one focuses on C and M for both the cat and mouse. A shooting star lights up the night sky. This one I think is just your basic format. Then we have a snake sheds its skin. This one has a coloring page with print and cursive. Mushrooms grow in a forest. This one does have an additional coloring and tracing page with it. A spectacular sunset descends. A snail leaves a trail. This one does have a little bit of coloring there. A tree's leaves change color and fall, focuses on both tree and leaves, so T and L are covered. In this one, there is a tree anatomy that you can use as a poster or a coloring page, or you could print this out on cardstock and have them watercolor it. Sparrow takes a bath. So this is just going to be an extra coloring page on this one. A cloud forms. This one does have just a little bit more in it, talking about the differences between real clouds and fake clouds. There is a little cloud coloring page. A chick hatches from an egg. Focuses on the CH. And there's also the chicken life cycle cut and paste, and a coloring page. And then there's another opportunity to practice CH with cherry blossoms fall to the ground. You've got your CH blend and a coloring page. Weaver ants build a nest. And then there's a little bit of an additional activity where you can create like the ant colony and the ant hill and kind of put this over it a little bit as an overlap, kind of like a lift the flap. Fiddleheads unfurl in the sunshine. So this focuses on F for fiddleheads and ferns. And there is also a coloring page for that. A mosquito makes a narrow escape. So you've got your M's, you've got the mosquito life cycle, and a coloring page. A woodpecker gets to work. This one focuses obviously on the W. And there is a coloring page. Then a sea star shuffles across the ocean floor. So this gives an opportunity to trace both sea star and starfish to talk about how different people call it something different, also in cursive. A barn owl wakes up. This one gives you a different coloring and tracing page for print and cursive. Poppies bloom in a field. This one is one of my favorites just because poppies are so beautiful. but also because I included another Monet piece of art here to do a little bit of an art study. Then we've got a horse gallops through a meadow. This one does have the additional coloring and tracing page with it. Moss has a fun one that I may do more of in the future because I think I really like it. This has some word family practice. The ladybug one, I already showed you. This one does have some fun extra things in there between the math and the life cycle stuff. The salmon one is kind of fun too. So the salmon one obviously focuses on the letter S, but then I also created this little S with salmon, which I thought was fun. And then we have geese. With just an additional coloring and tracing page in both print and cursive. Then we have a hare outruns an angry fox. This focuses on H and F for both the hare and the fox. Print and cursive for both. Kingfisher dives underwater. I'm just kind of skipping quickly at this point because you kind of get the gist, I think, by now. This is a harvest mouse. Next up is an oyster makes a pearl. So you've got O and P here. And then lastly, I believe, is a wolf howls to his pack. And that is it. I'm sure there will be more things that I print on cardstock, but I just wanted to show you a few things that I have already printed on cardstock. The first one is that ladybug math, because anything where they're going to be manipulating it, not just to paste it in, but to use over and over, I like to print on cardstock. You could also laminate. This one I'll use as a poster. This one as well. The cut and paste one I'll do on regular paper because I'll have them put that in their notebooks. This one I'll use as a poster, and then when I'm done, I may allow one of them, if they want to watercolor that. And then the art prints I wanted to put on cardstock as well. So I printed out water lilies, the baby duck math, like again, because they're going to be cutting and manipulating over and over again. I did that on cardstock. Here's another one of the art prints. Another one of the art prints. This was an accidental. I don't know what happened there. But then also the moss word family, because again, they're going to be manipulating this. They can go ahead and put different beginning letters here to create the different words, but then they also have these flashcards, so there are a variety of ways that you can use this as well. And there are some blank ones if you wanted to create more. Okay, you guys, I hope you enjoyed seeing a flip through of my slow down guide. I hope you get your hands on a Simplified Year bundle. It is going to be the greatest value in terms of the best deal, getting not only my guide, but all of these other amazing guides that are in the bundle. Let me know if you have any questions down in the comments. If you are new here, I'd love to get to know you guys. Introduce yourself in the comments below. Again, if you're not already following me over on Instagram, you can follow me there at rooted_homelife. You're not going to want to miss that giveaway tomorrow, so definitely be sure to check that out. And I hope to see you soon in one of my next videos. Until next time, stay rooted.